going to start with the female reproductive cycle, also known as menstrual cycle. So all this starts from the hypothalamus, which is present in our brain. So hypothalamus is a master of our endocrine system. So hypothalamus, it continues as anterior pituitary. We know it gives its process to the anterior pituitary. So this from the anterior pituitary, it controls our ovary, and ovary has impact on uterus. So this is like an axis following hypothalamus, anterior pituitary, ovary, uterus and axis. So what is this? Let us check out. So weight of hypothalamus is just 4 grams. That is just like our nail, the small part of nail. And so remember that limbic system is also having control on our hypothalamus. So limbic system is nothing but related with our emotions. So any emotional changes can also change the menstrual cycle or reproductive cycle in a female. So you can see this is a pituitary stalk, this is anterior pituitary. If you see anterior pituitary in detail, so it is having two types of nucleus, that is arcuate nucleus and preoptic nucleus. From the arcuate nucleus, the gonadotropin releasing hormone factor is released, and from that it reaches the anterior pituitary, and from anterior pituitary it reaches out as gonadotropins, that is mainly FSH and LH hormones, that is follicular stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormones. So actually female reproductive cycle is of about 28 days, right? Pathology, it is less than 21 days, then it is pathology. It may be also between 21 to 35 days in some kind of female, but if there is pathology, that is decrease less than 21 days, and abnormality when there is increase in more than 35 days, this is known as polymenorrhea, and if it is less than 21 days, then it is known as oligomenorrhea, that is very less cycle range, and greater than 35 means poly, that is more, right? So this cycle continue, and amenorrhea means there is no menstrual cycle only. So here you can see this is a scale by which we can draw like 1 to 14 days, 28 days. So 28 days cycle is a normal cycle here example. So the 14 days the ovulation takes place, and this is the first day. So what happens in early days is nothing but this gonadotropin hormone releases and enters anterior pituitary, FSH is released to the ovary. So in ovary we have the primordial follicle. The primordial follicle with some local factors, it automatically converts into primary follicle. So the primary follicle and primordial follicle difference is that in primary follicle we are having the cuboidal cell layer which is surrounding it. So FSH mainly acts on this primary follicle and converts it into the secondary follicle. So secondary follicle complete the first meiotic one in prenatal life itself and start the second meiosis in the secondary follicle. So next the secondary follicle is converted into Graafian follicle. So this conversion of primary follicle into secondary and Graafian follicle, it's all under the control of our FSH hormone. So this secondary follicle completes our first meiotic we discussed. And what is the difference between primary follicle and secondary follicle is nothing but the secondary follicle mainly contains the granulosa cells around them, and also there is containing a special connective tissue layer around them, that is the zona pellucida. So the zona pellucida is present around the secondary follicle. So this is the difference we need to find out. So what happens if the fertilization takes place is transfer the genetic material between the male and female and complete the second meiotic division. As I said about the first meiotic division as stopped there, and the second started in the secondary. So the second meiotic division completes only when fertilization takes place. So this is important point to remember. And also prevent the polyspermy. This we will learn in our fertilization, right? So what are theca cells doing there? So theca cells are producing. So what are the theca cells like? Here you can see the example. So for example, this is a primary oocyte in a primary follicle. Otherwise you can even take the secondary follicle. This is secondary follicle mainly, not primary follicle. In secondary follicle we'll having in the center primary oocyte. Around we are having zona pellucida, and around we are having granulosa cells, and outermost layer is the theca cells. And further these theca cells are again divided into theca externa and theca interna. So as the name you can understand, externa is most outermost layer and interna is the inner layer. So these theca cells produce mainly androgens. These androgens are again produced by means of cholesterol. Cholesterol only forms this androgens, estrogens, etc. So androgen is produced by cholesterol. Then how the cholesterol converting into androgen is mainly because of luteinizing hormone. Remember that LH is a luteinizing hormone which converts the cholesterol into androgens first, and next these androgens go to the granulosa layer. So this is a granulosa layer, right? So from the theca cells the androgen goes to the granulosa layers. and in the granulosa layers they get modified, that is the androgen converts into the estrogen. So granulosa layer plays a major role in conversion of an androgen to the estrogen. So we know in female there is more amount of estrogen, so this androgen is converted into estrogen mainly by the granulosa layer. So all follicles are growing in variable stages, like this primary follicle. For example, in every menstrual cycle, 15 to 20 follicles are growing, but all 15 to 20 follicles doesn't go into the mature phase. If only one of the follicle or may go into the mature phase, then it is known as Graafian follicle. So estrogen go to the endometrium and they multiply and make the cell thicker. So you know endometrium, for example, this is a female uterus. So this is the body of the uterus, this is the fundus of the uterus, and you know this is a fallopian tube with the fimbriae, and we know ampulla site, yeah, where fertilization takes place. So this is the cervix and this is the vagina, right? So this is actually uterus is having 3 layers. Innermost endometrium, middle myometrium made up of smooth muscles, and outer perimetrium which is made up of connective tissue, and outer perimetrium is also made by peritoneum, because peritoneum is outer, right? So estrogen go to the endometrium and they multiply and make them thick proliferative stage of the endometrium. So now this is like blood is in estrogen stage, because now estrogen has released from granulosa cells, and ovary is in follicular stage because now follicles are growing, and our endometrium is in proliferative stage. But remember one more difference, that how can we differentiate secondary follicle from Graafian follicle is, the Graafian follicles contain the fluid filled cavity that is known as antrum. Antrum is present. This fluid is mainly also containing hyaluronic acid, right? This Graafian follicle completes the first meiotic division. Yeah. So next we are having, we'll discuss it. We all know that at the 14th day the ovulation takes place. So next continue that, now what happens is luteinizing hormone comes into action, that is it acting on mainly theca cells. So if the luteinizing hormone acts on the theca cells, that is it converts the cholesterol into androgens. So now the androgens are converted into estrogen by means of FSH. So remember that in forming of estrogen actually 2 hormones are playing role, that is luteinizing and FSH both. Luteinizing which convert the cholesterol into androgens first, and the androgen is converted into estrogen by means of FSH. So this is important. So the follicular fluid is nothing but containing hyaluronic fluid as we decrease, which is mainly present in a late secondary follicle. Actually, secondary follicle is again divided into primary and late secondary follicle. So late secondary follicle is nothing but it is nearer to the stage of Graafian follicle, right? So estrogen is giving a negative feedback to the hypothalamus to decrease the FSH. Now estrogen is released by means of granulosa cells, right? So what happens is estrogen reaches the blood, and after reaching the blood it gives a negative feedback to the hypothalamus that already there is more amount of estrogen, so decrease the FSH and LH, that is decrease the gonadotropin hormone from the hypothalamus. So at day 14 what happens is again the estrogen level suddenly rises, that is end of follicular or mid follicular phase. So end of follicular or mid follicular phase indicates that it is giving a positive feedback to our gonadotropic axis, like to increase the more amount of luteinizing hormone in the case of mid follicular phase. So what happens in follicular phase? First let us see. So in follicular phase what happened is primordial germ cell is converting into Graafian, that is yes into mature, and here mitosis process is takes place because the primordial undergoes different stages of mitosis and forming the Graafian follicle, and here the main hormone which is taking place, that is in follicular state, is our estrogen, because it is released from granulosa cells by action of FSH and also LH. But remember that FSH is in a major role in the follicular phase. As the name follicular phase, follicular stimulating hormone is in the main role, and it is also having follicular fluid in this case, that is hyaluronic fluid, and the primary oocyte is here converted into secondary oocyte. Remember that there is secondary oocyte in the Graafian follicle. So secondary oocyte can be seen in a follicular phase, and this follicular phase takes place around the day 1 to day 14 of our menstrual cycle. So day 1 to 14 is for the follicular phase, and in the 14th day what happens, we are now discussing that in day 14 again the estrogen level is rising high. As it is given negative feedback, FSH and LH are decreased. But at day 14, suddenly the estrogen level is getting so much high, and it is ending of the follicular phase or the mid follicular phase. This is a positive feedback to our hypothalamus system. So as a positive feedback is taking place, that is increasing more amount of luteinizing hormone. So inhibin is also one which inhibits the FSH by the Graafian follicle, so that there is only more amount of increase in the luteinizing hormone in the day 14th. So remember that day 14th estrogen is giving positive feedback to our hypothalamus and leading to increase in LH. But also FSH is also one of the gonadotropin hormone, but the inhibin which is released from our Graafian follicle is inhibiting the FSH and only increasing the LH. So this leading to the LH surge. So what happens in LH surge is the follicular fluid is increased a lot and proteases are formed which eat away the tissue around the Graafian follicle and pops up the secondary oocyte out of it. That is, it is entering now into the fimbriae of the fallopian tube, right? So around and also there are cells around it known as corona radiata. So the ovulation takes place on the 14th day, around day 14 to 15. Sometimes it may also vary, that is on 15th day also ovulation takes place. So the fimbriae creep around this ovary like this. For example, this is fimbriae. So it creep around like this and pick up our ovary, secondary oocyte, and attach and catch it. So this is what taking place. So now let us see into ovulatory phase. Ovulatory phase is in day 14 to day 15, right, because of LH surge. So next coming to luteal phase. Luteal phase is from day 15 to 28. That is, the Graafian follicle is now converting into corpus luteum. That is, ovulation has taken place. So the remaining part of that is containing granulosa cells, theca cells, that is forming a corpus luteum. So Graafian follicle converting corpus luteum in the presence of luteinizing hormone. So this luteinizing hormone mainly produces a progesterone hormone. So luteinizing hormone releases progesterone. So menstruation is nothing but the shedding phase where our endometrium. So this is all the story about ovulation. We have completed we have understood the follicular phase, we have understood the ovulatory phase. Now we are seeing about menstruation. So menstruation is nothing but the shedding phase, which is taking at the days 1 to 5. That is, we know the endometrium is a simple columnar. So it is further divided into stratum functionalis and stratum basalis. So the stratum functionalis is having spiraled and coiled arteries in them, and they are shed off. But the stratum basalis is always intact, and also we're having a middle layer, that is stratum spongiosum. Actually, stratum spongiosum, stratum compactum together form the stratum functionalis. In spongiosum, we are having many glands. It is also known as glandular layer. And stratum basalis is having straight arteries, which are branch of internal iliac artery mainly. So here the story is still somewhat like in fimbriae here, the simple columnar. So the fimbriae is having simple columnar cells along with the cilia. So it easily take the secondary oocyte and pull it into the ampulla. So in the ampulla, what happens? The LH stimulates and converts into the corpus luteum. So luteinizing hormone is stimulated here, and it is converting the remaining part into corpus luteum, which is mainly producing the progesterone. So that's it. And where we are here, yeah, we completed this. Now let us see into proliferative stage of uterus. So proliferative, here the estrogen level is very high, that is taking place from the day 6 to 14. Here the regeneration of stratum functionalis takes place, because here only shedding takes place. Now regeneration need to take place for stratum functionalis, and here the spiral arteries or coiled arteries are present. And progesterone is mainly making the uterine glands, mucous glands is thin, and cervical, for cervical disease, not progesterone. In proliferative phase only uterine glands are made, with the mucous glands are also made in the cervical part, which are thin and easier, so that capacitation of sperm also can take place during proliferative stage. Next, coming to secretory phase. Secretory phase is mainly controlled by progesterone, and here the stratum functionalis is becoming thicker, and the spiral arteries are becoming longer, and the fluid matrix is and forming fluid rich nutrient broth. So this secretory phase is taking place days 15 to 28, and the secretion of uterine glands is taking place, and angiogenesis is taking place. That is, new spiral arteries are becoming longer. And remember that here the cervical plug is thick in case of secretory, because during secretory phase it should be thick cervical plug, so that any sperm or any other material is not allowed to enter inside. So HCG is the one which continue to produce the progesterone from the corpus luteum, And if there is no fertilization, then there is no HCG, then there is low levels of progesterone, then corpus albicans is formed, that is the corpus luteum is converted into albicans, that is a scarred white tissue. So the spiral artery is mainly dependent on progesterone, and the wall weak, and the uterus wall becomes weak, so the blood vessels are getting ruptured, that is our spiral arteries are getting ruptured, and the functionalis layer is getting ischemic necrotic, so that it is getting finally shed off. So this is what is going to take place in our female reproductive menstrual cycle. Now let us see some of the important points which are covered in our textbook, like the starting of menstrual cycle is known as menarche. It is starting at the age of 12 years, and ceasing of menstruation is called menopause, that is taking place at the age of 45 years in a female. So the ovarian cycle is what is in link with our menstrual cycle, because we know how the follicles change, all those things. In theca cells forming granulosa cells, thicker granulosa cells forming estrogen, how it reaches the blood, how it changes the uterus. So all this we know. So the ovarian cycle is for sure in continuation, means in relation to a menstrual cycle. So we know perimetrium is also made up of peritoneum, and myometrium is a smooth muscle layer, and endometrium is a mucous membrane. So lining epithelium of an uterus is mainly a compact layer. So compact layer along with glandular layer together form the functional layer of the endometrium, and the only functional layer bleeds, we know that, and never basal layer bleeds. So these are some of the important points. We'll also check out some diagrams which are covered in our textbook. So you can check out the diagram illustrating definition of menstrual cycle. So this is days, period of bleeding, one menstrual cycle. So one menstrual cycle is actually measured like between two periods of bleeding. So you can check out the components of an uterine and endometrium, like you have lining epithelium of compact layer, uterine glands, that is glandular layer, and here's the spiral artery, this is the stroma. So this all together form the endometrium. And endometrium, there are also straight arteries, but remember straight arteries is present in the basal layer or basal part. And this is the myometrium, which is made up of smooth muscle layer and contains many arterial plexus. These arterial plexus only arise as straight artery into the basal layer, and other into spiral artery into the glandular layer, like that. So here you can see the phases of menstrual cycle are like post-menstrual, that is after menstrual cycle, proliferative state of uterus cycle, this is secretory or premenstrual, and menstrual. So the post-menstrual and proliferative are under follicular phase, mainly under control of estrogen, and next is secretory and menstrual phase. So to understand clearly that what is taking part in what, so you can see from the day 1 to 14, mainly the FSH is in the taking part from day 1 to 14, and in 14th phase ovulation takes place because of LH cells. So LH takes place its major role in 14 day, and from 14 day to 28 day our progesterone is making a important role, and of course 1 to 14 day estrogen is also making important role, 14th LH, and 14 to 28 progesterone is the one which is maintaining these days. So at 14 day ovulation takes place. So by this timeline you can understand it. So these are like the different phases of menstrual cycle. Here you can check luteal phase. So it's a follicular phase. So this side is luteal, this side is follicular. So start with follicular. So we can see the proliferative phase, and 14 day ovulation takes place. It is under control of LH, and a post-menstrual case and the case of FSH. Menstrual phase, that is bleeding taking place here, the cycle. So you can see here the cycle is starting from here, right? Cycle begins here. So first 1 2 3 4 days bleeding. Next 4 5 6 7 8 is nothing but menstrual, post-menstrual, after menstrual cycle. And here it is under control of FSH, right? Because up to 14 days it is under control of FSH. So 14 day ovulation, and here is the proliferative phase. And from 20 day to 28 days, you can see this is all the secretory phase. The corpus luteum is beginning to degenerate. So this, and here you can check the uterine glands at various phases of menstrual cycle. So first one, post-menstrual cycle, how it is, and proliferative phase somewhat changes, and secretory phase is a sawtooth like appearance when in longitudinal section. So sawtooth like appearance. These are uterine glands. So you can see the changes in epithelium of uterine gland during menstrual cycle. So this is a post-menstrual, proliferative, secretory. Right. So the layers are like stratum compactum, stratum spongiosum, stratum basal. So spongiosum mainly contains our glands, and compactum, spiral artery reaches the outermost layer, and basal, so basal never gets shed off during menstrual cycle. Only compactum and spongiosum only shed off. So you can see the shedding of the regeneration, nutrient, all those we can understand by it. Yes, C means compactum, S means spongiosum, B means basal, right? So you can see this is the lining epithelium, these layers are shed off. So only till spongiosum, but basal is never. So this is secretory endometrium at the end of menstruation, and endometrium during the post-menstruation phase. The lining epithelium is reformed by proliferation of cells lining the basal parts of the uterine gland. So now here like we are completing almost a textbook every diagram so that you can understand easy. So this is what the graph showing in the morning temperature. So sometimes how we can predict the ovulation is because it may be variable with woman to woman, that is it may not be exactly on 14 day, it may also variable on 15 day. So if we take a temperature on every morning of a woman, then we can easily find out that on 14 days suddenly there is a sudden fall in a temperature, so that then we can understand that ovulation takes place. But this is also not true nowadays because it is also very, so the clinical correlation is for mainly important for pregnancy when it is not desired or when it is desired, and correlation with ovarian and uterine cycles, this should be well interrelated. So all those things are clinical. And hormonal control of ovarian and uterine cycles mainly by our FSH and LH, released by hypothalamus. So this is a diagram showing correlation between ovarian and uterine cycle. So the ovarian cycle, this is a uterine cycle. So you can say both are having 28 days cycle, and let us compare them. So first one you can see this is the developing follicles, and even here the endometrium is normal, right? Menstrual phase, follicular phase, post-menstrual and proliferative phase is going on when the mature follicle is formed. So 14-day ovulation is taking place and endometrium is like this, and secretory phase you can take here, luteal phase. So how to correlate is here you can see menstrual phase and post-menstrual proliferative phase are within follicular phase. Luteal phase is in the secretory phase. So you can check out here corpus luteum degeneration, that is corpus albicans. So clinical correlation, use of contraceptives, all those things, it's not so needed. And here you can see the hormonal control of ovarian and uterine cycle. So first from hypothalamus produce releasing factors, adenohypophysis, that is anterior pituitary, release FSH and LH. So formation and maturation of ovarian follicles, ovulation, formation of corpus luteum. LH is mainly for corpus luteum, FSH for ovarian follicles and its maturation, and middle in 14 day no ovulation. So ovary, estrogen is produced, progesterone is produced. What estrogen do? Repair and proliferative phase, progesterone secretory phase. So this is about endometrium. So how they are acting upon, so how the ovarian cycles are acting upon our endometrium. So this is a concentration of hormone FSH, LH, estrogen, progesterone during a normal menstruation cycle. Ovulation occurs because of LSH just before ovulation. This we are saying from starting. So let us check out this diagram too. So here the estrogen concentration is maximum 2 days before ovulation, and progesterone level increase maximum in secretory phase under the influence of LH. And this is FSH. LH surge occurs 36 to 24 hours before ovulation. So this is all we have done with our female reproductive cycle or menstrual cycle.